I have zero regrets about this intro because in my head, that's what warlocks sound like when they do the punchy thing. And speaking of punchy thing, do you like punching stuff? Do you like explosions? Do you like punching stuff and making explosions at the same time? Good, because that's what this video is about. Hello, you beautiful weirdos. How are you today? If you haven't noticed, I've been on a goofy solar melee meme kick in the video department. I started off with a Titan, made a Hunter version, and now it's only fitting we close this little series out with everyone's favorite space magic friend, the Warlock. And yes, I'm still sick if you can't tell, so you get to deal with me and my Darth Vader watching OnlyFans heavy breathing sounds. Awesome! I want to let you know right up front though, this is not a high-level endgame build. It's for pure fun, laughs, and ad clearing. So if this is something you're interested in, then hey, you're in the right place. If not, you're still welcome to hang out. We have cookies and spicy chicken nuggies, and we do share. Anyways, just like the other videos, the first thing we need to talk about is the subclass. After much needed testing and being a professional dumb Destiny builder, I can say without a doubt that the bottom tree solar subclass is the way to go with this build, and that's because of the skill Ignition Touch. It doesn't matter what jump, grenade, or rift you use as long as you have this equipped. Ignition Touch is literally a sunshot built into a Warlock skill tree. You kill a burning enemy, they go boom. And I don't mean some little boom, I'm talking big peepee boom, like Sunshot on roids boom, what a Titan drops in the toilet after Thanksgiving dinner's boom. So you know I'm serious. And now that I made this video awkward with the pee-pee and toilet humor, let's talk armor and mods. We're gonna need 2 pieces of solar, an arc bond, and stasis affinity arms. Yeah, I know, this affinity crap gets annoying sometimes, but hey, if we want to make the dumb builds, we gotta get the dumb armor. I'm gonna do things a little differently with this video. Usually, I would break down every piece of armor and talk about the mods as I'm going through it, but this build is a unique case because of how some of them work together, so instead of going through every piece, I'll discuss the mods and exotic options, and then I'll explain it all. We'll start off with the minor mods. You're gonna need the artifact version of Hands On Twice. Surprise, surprise! Which can only be equipped on the helmet to gain bonus super energy from melee kills. We'll also need the Stasis mod, Melee Kickstart. This one can only be equipped on the arms and gives you 15% of your melee energy back when using your melee, and 25% if you stack it twice. The last minor mod you need is Outreach. This one is an arc mod that can only be slotted on the class item. It gives you bonus melee energy when using your class ability, and for Warlocks, it's 20%. Yes, it's odd that they're different for each class, but that's how it is. I don't know, take it up a Bungie. Now let's move over to the major mods. I have 6 in total. Yes, you heard right, 6. Because we have a couple of options at our disposal. The mods are Bountiful Wells, Well of Life, and those are the 2 that are interchangeable by the way. Explosive Wellmaker, Melee Wellmaker, Elemental Charge, and Heavy Handed. And don't worry, we're gonna get in all of it, I promise. Bountiful Wells is a solar mod that basically stacks so you drop 2 wells instead of just 1 anytime you drop a well. Well of Life is another solar mod that grants you 13 HP per second for 11 seconds anytime you pick up a solar well and refreshes whenever you pick up a new one. Explosive Wellmaker is the final solar mod that can create solar wells anytime you rapidly kill 2 or more enemies with explosive damage. And when you pair this mod with the subclass skill Igniting Touch, I only have 2 words for you. Chef's kiss. Mwah! It's beautiful, seriously. Alright, now I lost track of where I was at. Oh yeah, Melee Wellmaker. This mod drops an elemental well matching your subclass anytime you get a kill with a charged melee. That's all it does. It's really good though. And the last 2 mods kinda coexist with each other. Elemental Charge to gain 2 stacks of charge with light anytime you pick up a well that matches your subclass, and Heavy Handed to regain half of your melee energy anytime you use a charged melee, consuming 1 stack of charged light. Heavy Handed also has a secondary perk that's only active when you have another arc mod slotted in that adds ammo to your reserves when surrounded while using a fusion, shotgun, sidearm, or SMG. And I would highly recommend slotting Heavy Handed on the class item since we're going to be using the arc mod Outreach anyways. Okay, let's talk about these exotics so I can finally piece all this together for you. After many hours of testing, I found 2 exotics that work great with this build. The Claws of Ahamkara and the Karnstein Armlets. The Claws give you 2 charged melees, and the Karnstein Armlets grants a big chunk of health and health regen after a melee kill. Both of these are fantastic for this build, so it just comes down to your personal preference and how you want to play. Regardless of which exotic you choose, they will need to have stasis affinity to slot in melee kickstart. And keep in mind, if you double stack it, the only major mod you'll have room to fit in is elemental charge, because melee kickstart consumes 4 energy slots per mod. I know, so many stipulations, it's annoying. But here's where things get a little interesting, and why I mentioned a 6 option for the major mods and 2 exotics, and the whole reason I formatted this video the way I did. Sometimes melee kickstart and heavy-handed don't like to play nice together. I don't know what the deal is, but occasionally one of them won't proc at the same time as the other one, but it'll still consume a stack of charged light. It's one of those weird bugs that Bungie has probably been fixing for a year now, and they'll probably get around to it when Destiny is no longer online. It's something we have to deal with, and because of it, this is why I mentioned Bountiful Wells as an optional mod. You won't get any extra stacks of charged light from elemental charge by picking up a second well, but you will get bonus melee energy because every well you pick up that matches your subclass grants 10% energy to all your abilities. So between the 25% if you stack melee kickstart and the 20% from picking up 2 solar wells, you almost get half your melee back to compensate for that bug or whatever the hell it is. So this is where you have to decide what playstyle and exotic you want to go with. That way you can pick between Bountiful Wells and Well of Life. If you decide to use the Karnstein Armlets, you'd have no reason to use Well of Life because you're already getting the healing from the exotic arms themselves. And if you go with the Claws of Ahamkara, you get 2 charged melees to help in those occasions when melee kickstart and heavy-handed don't want to play nice together, but you have no healing besides your Rift. If you want to go overboard on the melees, consider using Claws of Ahamkara and Bountiful Wells at the same time, which is what I found myself gravitating toward. I didn't really care about the healing whatsoever. I was having way more fun with non-stop charged melees and explosions, but then again, I am the potato builder of Destiny, so I have that going for me. Okay, the last 2 things we need to talk about are the stats and the weapons. This section is fairly easy. My stats suck, and the only thing I made sure I had plenty of was strength to help with the melee recharge rate. As far as the weapons go, anything with explosive damage like Chain Reaction, Sunshot, Polaris Lance, or even Taku's Divination would be a fantastic addition to this build. A good combination for me was Monte Carlo for the melee, Salvager Salvo for the chain reaction and explosions, and a rocket launcher for even more explosions. I was more focused on punching the shit out of everything than shooting, which usually I am. Now comes my favorite part, how it all works together. The only thing you have to do is get a melee kill to start this whole chain reaction of endless melees and explosions. When you do get a charged melee kill, Melee Wellmaker will drop 1 or 2 wells depending on whether you have Bountiful Wells or Well of Life equipped. The moment you pick up that well, you'll gain 2 stacks of charged light from elemental charge. If you went with the Bountiful Wells option, you'll gain half your melee energy back from the 2 wells and melee kickstart. At this point, you should almost have enough energy to get it back if you drop a rift, which would activate outreach. If you decided to go with the Well of Life option, it'll immediately start healing for 10 seconds after you pick up a well instead of dropping 2. Once you have a fully charged melee again and the 2 stacks of charged with light, that's when the real magic starts happening. Every charged melee kill will consume 1 stack of charged with light and return half your melee energy back because of heavy-handed. This combined with double stacking melee kickstart and at least picking up 1 well will give you 85% of your melee energy back. If you use Bountiful Wells, you'll get 95% of your melee back instead. It's a simple rinse and repeat cycle. You'll never run out of stacks of charged with light as long as you have a charged melee, and you'll always have a charged melee as long as you have stacks of charged light. Besides in that instance when the bug happens, occasionally. But it doesn't end there. No. We still have Explosive Wellmaker and Igniting Touch working for us. Every kill you get on a burning enemy causes a massive explosion, which in return can proc Explosive Wellmaker. This will drop 1 or 2 wells depending on the mod you used, and that will be the other 5% of the melee energy you were missing. So now you have full melee energy and explosions happening everywhere around you. What else could you ask for in life? This has to be one of the simplest and most satisfying melee builds out there. It requires no real setup and no thought process behind it. Just punch everything and watch the world burn. I think this is the part where I'm supposed to give you some really cool outro and all that, but I got nothing. So go out there and do dumb Guardian stuff. Just remember to always be true to yourself and be good to one another. Thank you! Alright, who wants some chicken nuggets? How about you? Of course they're spicy. God!